Have you ever wondered, who is a witch? Why does she only live in a swamp and always use potions? How is she connected to bandits or pillagers if she helps them raid villages? Why is she hostile to the player? And how does a villager struck by lightning become a witch? Today, we will also answer questions about her history and creation. Sit back comfortably. This is Raymond, and we're starting. She appeared in Minecraft a very long time ago, in version 1.4. Since then, up to the current versions, she hasn't changed much, although she has undergone some modifications. For instance, you probably didn't know that in early versions, the witch would run away from a creeper, even though it wasn't trying to harm her. Perhaps this was related to a bug, or maybe the developers added it for a reason, but later removed it nonetheless. Along with the addition of the witch, a new structure called the Witch's Hut also appeared. It's a small building where the witch herself has a chance to spawn. In addition, you can find a crafting table and a nearby cauldron in this house, and a flower pot with mushrooms on the windowsill. Significant changes came to the witch in version 1.14, also known as the Village and Pillage update. From then on, the witch participates in raids, heals ordinary pillagers, and helps them kill the player. Also, starting from this version, a black cat can potentially spawn in her hut in the swamp. Well, it's not surprising, since stray cats also started appearing in regular villages, which the player can later tame. Now I'll tell you about the witch's characteristics, because we need to understand who we're dealing with if we decide to defend a village from a pillager raid. She has 26 health points. For comparison, the player has 20, and while this may seem strange, the witch has her own combat tactics. The whole point of it lies in the order of using potions, and in fact, these tactics are very dangerous. No armor will save you. The best way is to kill the witch herself as quickly as possible. But let's return to the combat tactics. She starts by throwing a poison potion, which doesn't care at all what armor you're wearing. This potion will do everything to leave you with half a heart. She can also use a potion of slowness, thereby making it harder for the player to approach her or escape. And the finishing blow will be a potion of instant damage, which will kill any player left with low health after the poison effect. She is also quite a cunning mob. If set on fire, she will drink a potion of fire resistance. And if you deal damage to her, she will use a potion of instant healing. In general, if you fight her, your damage must exceed her regeneration speed, and it's better not to use potions against her, as she takes significantly reduced damage from such things. The witch's lore was added quite a while ago, and there is very little information about it. For example, where did they come from in the world of Minecraft? And why do they resemble villagers so much? Let me remind you of the method by which a player, or Minecraft itself, can turn a villager into a witch. A player can do this using a trident enchanted with channeling only during a thunderstorm. Before players existed in the world of Minecraft, this could only happen by chance, a lightning bolt striking an ordinary villager, turning them into a witch who became distinct from others by possessing certain magical abilities. And here is a connection with villages. They contain brewing stands, which the witch might have once worked at. This also explains why villagers have some magical items for potions, and even a separate profession, the cleric who sells them. Perhaps these are villagers who also adopted experience in potion making, but after some time, the witch is expelled from the settlement and retreats to a swamp. The location is not chosen by chance. For many purposes, simple mushrooms or red mushrooms are used, which are plentiful in this biome. There is another version, though they can be called complementary, as they do not contradict each other, but rather bind the entire story into a single whole. Besides the witch, in the world of Minecraft, there is another being who can brew potions, one who understands magic and potion ingredients. This is the player. Before them, there was a certain civilization of similar beings in the world of Minecraft that built various structures and studied sciences. After the outbreak of a zombie virus epidemic, half of the Steves turned into zombies. This explains why all the undead so closely resemble the player. The survivors built igloos in snowy plains, where they studied the zombie virus in basements. They tried to find a cure and tested it on villagers. If you find such a structure and go down, you can see one ordinary villager and another infected one. But experiments are never successful on the first try, and sometimes, descending into the basement, you won't find a villager there, and sometimes the basement itself will be absent. There is a theory that villagers who spent a long time in these chambers and underwent various experiments fled from the structure to the swamp. This explains how the witch knows all the potion brewing recipes. After all, it was the player who experimented with potion making before them. Even the brewing stand itself is positioned so that it is visible to those sitting behind the bars. So, the villagers who fled to the swamp in solitude began developing their own potions. Their appearance changed drastically. They became different from their original form. This can be explained by loneliness and having no one to test their potions on except themselves. This accounts for her unhealthy, pale appearance and heightened immunity to all potions, and even complete insusceptibility to some. However, she was not entirely alone. In version 1.114, a new type of villager appeared, called the Wandering Trader. At nightfall, he uses a potion of invisibility, though he has no home and thus no place to brew potions. I think you've already guessed that it is quite beneficial for witches to cooperate with those who travel the world and can gather all the necessary ingredients. In return, the Wandering Trader receives a large supply of potions of invisibility, which ensure his safety and covert movement during dark hours. But the witch's solitude did not last too long, as pillagers sought her help for village raids. They use her powers and potions to capture settlements. The witch constantly heals the rank-and-file pillagers, throwing potions of regeneration and instant health at them. Thanks to her effects, it is quite difficult to deal with an entire army of Ravager riding pillagers. In her free time, when the pillager squad is fully healed, she deals damage to the player with various potions. This can be seen, to some extent, as revenge for the fact that some time ago the race of Steves kept them locked in basements under igloos and experimented on them with numerous potions, yet they still remain neutral, or perhaps even friendly towards villagers, because once she was just like them. Thus, we can conclude that the witch is perhaps not the most fleshed-out mob in Minecraft's lore, but if you look into it, it is a very important mob with a deep history. And a player, entering the world of Minecraft, doesn't understand why the witch lives alone in a swamp, what happened to her, and who sat in the chamber in the basement under the igloo. But after watching this video, you've learned a little more about Minecraft. That concludes my theory. Rate and like if you agree with it. If not, then write your version in the comments. I will be genuinely interested to read it. And also subscribe to the channel, as there's a lot of interesting Minecraft content here. I bid you farewell. This was Raymond. Good luck to everyone. Bye-bye.